It's the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Oh yeah, Will.
It's time.
Oh yeah.
It's time.
I love it.
Episode number 5, Brad.
We're doing a little video tonight too,
Yeah.
so you'll be able to watch that. I'd like for when we play this music and everything, and I don't know if the household will allow it, but I'd love for some pyro, some fireworks.
Man, we'll get that arranged next week. At least we'll put some wrestlers behind us, some big fat heads behind us or something, man.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You got to make sure that you
Do something.
Yeah. It's the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast. I am Brad Reed. I am joined by Will Garrison. And I always wondered too, I was driving in today, I was thinking, if ever that you want to be the guy that brings us in and is the big host, you do it.
Man,
You take over.
there's got to be a baby
leaving.
face. There's got to be a heel.
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell you one day, Bradley. One day, I will be the
Are you going
host
to put
of
me
this
through
show.
that table? This table right in front of me? I would not enjoy that, so just so you know. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about today. We're going to break down WrestleMania. Our picks were horrible. We're probably not even going to, we're going to glide right by our picks.
We're just going to act like that didn't happen.
We've got, of course, your top SmackDown and top Raw stories for the week, your rumors, and, of course, we got a local show we're going to talk about
Yeah.
at the end.
It's going to be good.
We're going to go see. So we should probably start with WrestleMania. What do you think, Will?
Well, we can start with it. I will say that I think that Raw and SmackDown entertained me a little bit more than WrestleMania did. I'm not a hater because I'm one of those guys that whatever the WWE puts out, I love it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
WrestleMania was a little PC for me.
Yeah.
It was a little, there wasn't a whole lot of risk that were taken in WrestleMania other than maybe being a little bit too conservative.
Mhm.
But it was good. I mean, we enjoyed it. We hung out together, man. We watched it.
Yeah.
We posted a few live videos. We may have shook our head a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was with you. I thought the NXT takeover and then the following Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
I thought those were actually better than WrestleMania, which was the longest wrestling event ever.
It was a long event.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
And when talking a little bit about our picks, we picked according to what we thought would probably be some of the best stories, I think, too. And it was just disappointing that a lot of those never came to fruition, and it was just real vanilla. You know, it's like there was a couple things that we did say would happen. Shinsuke turning heel, and that was great. Everything else, I don't know. I just thought it was, it wasn't predictable because we didn't predict it. But then again, there was no drama. Where's the drama?
Where's the drama?
You remember that movie?
I do. So, with both the Battle Royals, so we did have a little bit of drama talking about it.
That's true. Yeah, that's
but
true.
I want to say it wasn't just Shinsuke that we called, though. We actually called, would we see Bray Wyatt as a Woken Warrior?
Yeah, yeah.
Now, they have not said the words Woken Warrior for Bray, but he was thrown into the lake of reincarnation.
Yeah.
And now it's time for the Battle Royal. Matt Hardy's left there standing, and Bray Wyatt comes in. He helps. Matt Hardy wins the Andre the Giant Battle Memorial Royal, and for what it is, for the next night of Raw, and we'll get into that too, it doesn't seem to be too terrible. I think both guys really needed that.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah, and spoiler alert, I guess I'm going to jump ahead to what happened on Raw. There was a little moment. Well, there was a big moment. It won't make our top 3, but it was a big moment, especially for me. Like, Jeff Hardy came back.
He did.
And ended up joining Finn Balor and Seth, right? Against The Miz and the Miztourage. But there was a little bit of a crossover there where they're walking through and they see Bray and they see Matt Hardy. And Jeff goes into his little Brother Nero spiel.
Yes,
and
he does.
it leaves Seth and them looking at him like, What's
this going on here?
But that was a funny moment.
The crowd was popping.
Yeah, they liked it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad to have Jeff Hardy back. But yeah, and then you had Naomi. She won the Women's Battle Royal. And, it was the Fabulous Moolah, right? And they changed it.
I don't,
Are they smearing her name a
you
little
could
bit?
probably get into why that is, but we're just gonna say here on the Family podcast that they changed it, and so it ends up Naomi is out of the ring, right?
Mhm.
And you kind of forget she's still involved,
Right.
And what do you have? You have Sasha Banks and Bailey still staring at each other. The same there's a familiarity to that. You know what I mean? Bailey throws Sasha out. She thinks she's won.
Mm-hmm.
She starts celebrating, and then what happens?
Yeah, Naomi. She's and I told you this the other night. I don't like that how like they can they don't get thrown over the top rope, but they can go through the other ropes and then just hide out. And they do that. I mean, I know they do it for rest.
Sure, they do it for rest, but I also think that's like a heel move. You know what I mean?
When Shinsuke kind of did it.
Yeah, he did.
But now he's the heel. But you know what I mean? Like Shinsuke probably set out most of the Royal Rumble. Seth Rollins.
Yep.
He wins. He gets the title at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty dope. He came out with the blue eye.
Yeah, the blue contacts.
Yeah, the blue eye contacts, and he looked kind of like the Ice King or whatever from Game of Thrones. Do you watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, well, I think that's what he wanted.
Yeah.
You could tell that's what he was going for.
It's not the Ice King. What's his name? I can't remember, but
I don't know.
He's crazy.
Coming,
yeah,
so.
winter's coming. Yeah. Winter hasn't left Oklahoma. It was snowing last week, and now it's 85 degrees.
And this weekend it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Seth wins, and any one of those guys, if Miz had won it, I wouldn't have been surprised because then he could have had it and broke
he could have been the longest
record.
reigning. Yeah, absolutely.
Finn, I could have seen him winning, but Seth made the most sense, and I'm glad that he won.
It was good, and even the next storyline in Raw, Seth did a great job with it, and the crowd really chanted his name. The crowd. The crowd after WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleMania, the crowd is electric. And just like it was in SmackDown too, but that first night after WrestleMania is they're just buzzing. Man.
Yeah.
They're just excited to be there. Seth comes out and the whole crowd is just burn it down. And, that had to make Seth feel great because he's the babyface in the moment.
Right.
And he did a great job with it.
Charlotte, we were wrong about this one, I know, because I picked Asuka to win, continue the streak, and then go to SmackDown, which still could happen that she could go to SmackDown.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, too.
Yeah. And I think, just a little preview, I think Charlotte goes to Raw. But she breaks the streak and holds on to the title. Were you surprised?
A little bit. I really was. I really thought that we would see Asuka have the big WrestleMania moment. She would win the title at WrestleMania, and then just the storyline would kind of continue that at the next pay-per-view Backlash that's coming up, we would see Charlotte and Asuka go at it again because they really, this is my opinion, this is for whatever it's worth, they stole the show. It was the best match of the night. They put on a hell of a show, and it was the storyline that was told inside the match was incredible.
Right.
That, can Charlotte overcome the Empress Asuka? And there were so many times in the match that you didn't think that she was going to be able to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like the energy that was built, and she would, move after move after move, and then Empress still kicked out, and the storyline that was built, and then finally, Charlotte gets her into, the figure 4 leg lock, which goes into the figure 8, and just, man, she wins even with the hurt shoulder, and Asuka comes out after the match and says, "You were ready for Asuka." They hug it out. I'm not a big, hug guy at the end of matches.
Yeah.
Whether men or women, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm just not like, I think, the other person just kind of bows out and the other person gets the glory and you just kind of move on. But, every once in a while, it's not too bad.
I would have liked, that's another case where much like what Shinsuke did, I would have liked to have seen Asuka maybe, a little more drama. That's all I'm saying.
It wouldn't have been bad.
Instead they're hugging it out. So, I mean, you can do that. Hug it out.
Hug it out.
We're not going to talk about every match that at WrestleMania, but we're kind of hitting the high spots.
By now, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you saw it. If not, go to the WWE Network and check it out. If you've got 5-6 hours. But one thing that we talked about, and I think we were both some people thought it was cool, but I think we were let down. Braun Strowman. And I still wonder, was there a different plan and then it fell through? Or because he ends up picking somebody out of the crowd. And it ends up being a little kid named Nicholas. Yeah. And Nicholas is a little shy kid, gets in the ring and looks terrified for half a second. And that was funny. It was funny. But you kind of made the point that you thought it kind of tarnished the belts.
Well, not only the belts, but Braun Strowman along with it. He's the monster among men. And this whole time we said, hey, it's okay if he has a personality.
Sure.
That makes it fun. That, we get to see a little bit of personality. He's playing the big, bass, and he smashes it over Elias. And then, he's Braun Strowman. He has all that. So I didn't mind any of that. Like, you're showing a personality side of Braun Strowman of why he can carry the company, why he can carry the Universal Championship, why he can do that. And, then Nicholas comes out and, you almost thought for a minute, hey, this is just going to be kind of a joke. It is what it is. And then it's not a joke. It plays out the whole match.
And I almost think that Braun, almost picked saw a kid, thought it was the Nicholas kid. Because did you see that?
No.
Where he pointed at somebody and then he was like, and he walks over. But Nicholas, so, we were kind of talking about it. I was like, well, maybe he's a Make-A-Wish kid. Yeah. And that would have been great. I would have been behind that. He wasn't. He was
like been a better story.
He was a ref son.
Yeah.
So that's why it felt like, was that like a last second, like, oh, crap, The Rock can't make it? Or I don't know. There's so many things that could have happened and ended up happening later on, but not on WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know. I really don't know what went down. I'd like to know because if that was the plan all along, that was a terrible plan.
Well, I got on Twitter, after WrestleMania and just before I was going to bed and just kind of going through everything and like, am I just being a hater here, man? Do I just hate Nicholas? And that wasn't the case. There was a lot of mixed reviews back and forth.
It was split, you know. He got a nice pop when he showed up and it was so hilarious too because he was like, where is Nicholas? And he pops up. He's like, he's been here the whole time. That was funny. But, was it JJ? Was that his name? The kid that got inducted in the Hall of Fame?
Jackson. Yeah.
Why not him?
Oh, yeah.
If it was just going to be, a kid and the referees, make his day.
Yeah. Well, and he was actually really entertaining when he did his, he's been around before and he's an entertaining kid and he knows how to play a crowd.
Yeah.
He did great at the Hall of Fame ceremony. Yeah. So that would have made 1,000 more percent to me. But, we're here talking about it. Yeah. Nicholas got over. He did his thing, man. Congratulations to Nicholas. Even though you're not the tag team champions anymore and neither is Braun, I have to say it probably leaves the bar kind of scratching their heads a little bit of why that happened. But hey, it happened.
Well, and then it turns out the next night that it's setting up a tournament now for the belt. So interesting stuff. Here's the big one. We were waiting all week to see if Undertaker would
do something.
So you see, the way they drew it out, though, was kind of ridiculous. You see John Cena, he's in the crowd. Mm-hmm. I think he's having a beer or having 4 or 5 because the level of the beer never changed. So either he was having them refresh it the whole time or he wasn't drinking it. Probably not drinking it if he had a match. I don't know. What do you think? But they come out and they, Undertaker's in the back or whatever they said. Mm-hmm. And so he runs off. Changes into his jorts.
Yeah. But here's what let's stop you real quick.
Yeah.
Because this is where it got a little weird for me. We just had the burn down match of Charlotte versus Asuka. And then, they've had their moment. They're hugging it out. Asuka is walking off, and Charlotte's standing there. And they're both applauding that John Cena has heard the word that Undertaker's there.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is an exciting thing. When Undertaker's in the building, everybody's happy about it. But what just seemed a little weird to me was you just had this incredible match.
Yeah.
Burned down. Looks like it's going to be the match of the night. We don't know yet because it's, halfway through and all that kind of stuff. But they just had this match that you're like, wow, that's awesome, man. This is incredible. And there was a little bit of, just it spoiled it for me just a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal, but it seems like you could have done that in a different scenario. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and so he comes out. Cena comes out and gets up there, and he's like thinking that Taker hasn't shown up again, and they're like, "Oh God, what is going to happen?" And then, of course, Undertaker shows up, which they had a little bit of the kind of cheesy with the lightning strikes and then his gears and but whatever. But it ended up turning into. I mean, I thought Taker looked great.
It was a squash match.
Yeah,
with John Cena.
Yeah, but I thought it was fun, and it ended up finally happening. He was able to
do.
There we go.
Something. Yeah.
Well, he did it in a big way. Is what he did.
Yeah. So it ended up being good. Something that wasn't on this list, but before I get to the last thing, or the second to last thing, Daniel Bryan's match.
Oh yeah, of course.
It didn't go the way I thought either because Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens ended up losing, and they're fired now.
Right.
So we're gonna see how that plays out. Daniel Bryan wins.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that was just, I thought that was a good moment, a feel good moment, but again a vanilla kind of moment.
It didn't surprise us when we talked about that. It didn't surprise us. I mean, that was a good moment. Daniel Bryan's coming back. He is one of the most iconic guys over the past, before he got injured and he couldn't wrestle. He's been gone 3 years, but the 3 years prior to that, I mean, he was the biggest superstar in the WWE. So it felt good. It was okay, and you're happy for Daniel Bryan. You're happy for Shane in the moment. It's good stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, Shane. I'm not sure if he tore his hernia back up. But he did do his signature.
Jump across the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, from turnbuckle to turnbuckle.
So that was, does he have a name for that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Just, the holy crap.
Yeah. Here we go again.
AJ Shinsuke, and we kind of spoiler alerted that one. I loved it. Thought it was a great match. Everything about that one I liked. The end I loved.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I like Shinsuke turning heel. People were booing him. I wonder. Yeah, I mean, are they booing him because that's what they should do, or you think people are mad at him now?
All of the above.
Yeah,
but that's what you want.
Some people do take it real serious. Like they'll be like super mad now.
Yeah, but to me, it's just the fact that, hey man, we had the moment. We had the moment where these guys have been, I don't want to say buddy, but they've been very respectful the whole time. And it's kind of like the whole Charlotte Asuka thing where I said, that's the last thing I want to do is see them two hug it out at the end. You're like, come on, man. Yeah. And then they're about to hug it out. They're about to have that moment. And Shinsuke.
Yep, got him right in the junks.
Yep.
Yeah, that was bad for AJ. And Shinsuke. But see, Shinsuke, he can be kind of creepy. And so I think it works for him as a heel.
Yeah.
I think it does. And I like it. And I still am a fan and still love Shinsuke. Roman Reigns and Brock. Now, this one ended up, for me, I felt like a lot of the crowd who was watching it when they were chanting, this is boring. Because,
this is awful.
It was like the same, you got to see 10 F5s.
Mm-hmm. The match... I just don't know if the guys don't have the greatest chemistry when it comes to the match. We're going to talk about something in our rumor section that happened after the match, behind.
I can't wait to hear this because I didn't even know about it.
And so I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. But, the biggest part of the match was when Brock cut open Roman. I mean, he's giving him those elbow shots, and he gets cut open, and he's got a, and WWE at this point in time, they're a PG, they're a company, and they have a no blood policy.
Oh, they do?
Yes, they absolutely do.
Well, he was bloody as hell.
Yeah, and so is that on purpose? Do they make an exception? Blah blah blah. We don't know all that. It's fun for us to talk about and speculate. But, he took that elbow shot pretty hard. You could see it when he cut him open with that elbow. And Roman's just bloody as all get out. But I will say I was surprised that Brock won the match.
Me too. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of the people like us in the WWE universe thought this is Brock's last match in the WWE, which we might as well go into some of it. But
he's re-signed.
The next day you find out he immediately re-signed, and they're going to have the greatest Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that at?
It's in Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. Okay. And that's on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And so they're going to
April 27th.
rematch in a steel cage. And we'll kind of talk a little more about that here in just a few. But, I mean, did that surprise the heck out of you that he re-signed? And I saw something today that said that he can fight. He can have a UFC fight, too. It's part of his contract now.
Yeah, I think they've obviously been working that out for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And now that, WrestleMania's passed and, more things come out, the rumor that came about, though, just even though we've talked about it before, is that Brock is dropping the title to Roman in Saudi Arabia. We have said it before on the podcast, and I'll feel good about saying it again. I'm ready to see the Universal Championship on Raw every single Monday night, and it played out in a storyline that is continuous because as we move forward with all these pay-per-views, Backlash is the next pay-per-view.
Yeah.
It is now Raw and SmackDown combined. It's no longer two separate pay-per-views for these two brands.
Yeah.
So now, where do all these storylines fit in? And to me, if the Universal Championship is not going to be on Raw every single week, how, almost to steal a word from Matt Hardy here, obsolete does it become, you know?
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. I want to see it. I want to see it on the, it's the biggest title on Raw. Let's make it that way.
Well, I had mentioned WrestleMania. I think we'll put a little bow on it here. It wasn't, to me, the best WrestleMania. There wasn't.
No.
You didn't. I don't know if Ronda counted as the celebrity appearance, but she shouldn't.
I think it was
she's
Nicholas.
part of the roster.
It was Nicholas.
Nicholas.
Get out of here with that, man. It was Nicholas.
Nicholas. Yeah. Okay. He's probably a little famous now.
Man. Okay, so he's 10 years old, so he's probably not real big into girlfriends just yet.
Yeah.
But I bet a lot of girls were talking to him when he went back to school.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You think we'll see Nicholas over the summer?
I don't know, man.
If they were having a teacher walkout like they're having in Oklahoma, he probably could have,
he
maybe
could have stuck around a little bit longer. Yeah.
You know?
He could have fought Sheamus or something.
Yeah. All right. So, what would you grade WrestleMania? I give it maybe a low B, but kind of feel like a C plus.
Yeah, man. I'm in that. I've seen a lot of great WrestleManias over my life, and it's definitely in the C category. Great moments in it, though.
Yeah.
We did, like Shinsuke, and Ronda was a little bit better than we talked about. I don't think she was that much. I think Triple H did so good carrying the match.
Yeah.
And he is, man, so good at what he does, and he carried that match all the way through. Stephanie sells it like crazy.
Yeah.
So we had some good moments. I thought that, Seth winning the Intercontinental Championship, he spins that thing around his head like crazy. Great moments.
He did. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you watch the NXT TakeOver beforehand, that was awesome. The ladder match.
Get out of here, man.
My gosh. And then you saw a couple things that happened, and we're probably going to segue here. Ember Moon lost her championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think we got the tag team. They kept theirs, and then we had the North American. That was for one was for
Adam
the ladder.
Cole won that. He won a great. I mean, that was for the ladder match, obviously, like you just said. It was just if you haven't seen NXT TakeOver, go watch it.
Yeah.
It is totally worth your time, and to me, was it better than WrestleMania? I was really entertained.
Yeah,
I will say that. Triple H has got to be a proud guy as a leader of NXT.
Well, let's get to my most favorite part of the show every week.
It's the top 3 Raw stories.
Yeah, that means it's fight time. All right, so number 3, we mentioned Ember Moon.
Yeah.
She drops her title at NXT TakeOver, and then this happens.
I do have a partner.
Naya.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And her name is, are you ready for it? Ember Moon.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Which I didn't
They just stole our catchphrase.
That's right. I need to isolate that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect Ember Moon to show up because you didn't know. I mean, like I say, there was no surprises at WrestleMania, really. But then Raw and SmackDown, there was a bunch.
Yeah.
So it was a good time, but it made more sense now why Ember Moon dropped her title.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So, what happens now? Do you think she stays on Raw or she goes in the shakeup, right?
Well, she's going to be in the shakeup. And what we've seen in the past is that as, even when Bailey got called up from NXT,
Mm-hmm.
they kind of play back and forth for a while. They're finishing
okay.
these storylines. They're finishing out, appearances. And so you'll probably see that with Ember Moon. But, she's going to be on the main roster. And what better way to get, Nia got a huge pop going back to WrestleMania for just a second when she beats Alexa, wins the Raw Women's Championship, and great pop for her. She comes out, and then on Raw, she gets another great pop.
Yeah.
And then just to, put the exclamation point on it, she calls out Ember Moon to be her partner, and man, the crowd goes nuts for her, and it was a good moment. It really was.
Did you think at all that it was going to be some kid named Nicole?
If it was, I might have turned it off.
But yeah, so it was Nia, and she needed a partner versus Alexa and Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
And Ember, she's cool. I like her.
Oh yeah, she's got a great look to her, man. She knows how to work. She knows how to make it look great in the ring, and she's worked with all those ladies before as well. As they're not far from NXT. They've been on the main roster for a while, but they've had a little bit of history there.
So we're gonna set this one up for our number 2 story. But Stephanie comes out, and she
kicked off Raw.
Yeah,
right.
She's giving it up to herself. She's she set up Ronda so that she could become the star and blah blah blah. Stephanie, and so she gets Ronda out there, and Ronda and her have a little hug.
Mm-hmm.
Not again! Ronda, let go! This is ridiculous!
She puts her in the lock, the arm lock.
Yeah.
She sold it. She sold it. Stephanie sold that. I like this part. That was when she, finally locked it in.
Completely classless move by Ronda Rousey.
So they're in a hug.
That's the commissioner of Monday Night.
They're shaking hands.
Yeah.
And they're kind of smiling at each other, and as we talked about it before, the switch flips for Ronda, and she doesn't forget all the stuff that Stephanie's done to her.
Well, she put her through a table last week.
Yeah. She doesn't forget any of it.
Right.
She rolls her over into the arm bar, and Stephanie already had a brace. She was already hurt. She had sold it so well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurt. She could have ripped my arm off, all the things that she said. And Ronda, you know what? I'm hoping that she just continues to improve and improve, because she's going to be something you're going to have to deal with her.
I'd say she needs to quit with the hip tosses, though, because
well,
it's either her or Stephanie, but there's not enough air to make that look good right now.
I'm not sure which one it is, but we'll see as time goes on. That's all we can say about that.
But I love because you heard it in WrestleMania too. I love that the anticipation from the crowd as she's getting that locked in, and then she leans back, and the crowd's like, oh, yeah. Man, it's such a cool moment. So I'm super psyched to see more of Ronda Rousey, and she needs to get a better uniform, because I don't know what those pants were. She was fighting with them the whole time at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and sometimes it wasn't too attractive how she was getting herself out of it. But we'll see as this moves on. But we said it a bunch. She's a big time name. Glad to have her in the WWE. Glad we're talking about her. And I think as time goes on, it'll be interesting when she goes against different, like Nia or Alexa or a Sasha or a Bailey. Like, how does she, when you put her up against the cream of the crop, where is she going to be in that?
Right. All right. This brings us to our number 1 moment, which saw Roman Reigns come out. He's talking to the crowd, and he's basically kind of talking about how he didn't know about this Brock Lesnar match till he saw it on social media.
So I don't know what the plan is here. I don't know what they're scheming up. I don't know what the story is behind this, but I do know this. If they continue to put me in matches with Brock Lesnar, the story will end with me becoming the Universal Champion.
The surprises just continue. A very defiant Roman Reigns, and now this is a surprise Roman Reigns is not going to enjoy. The return of Samoa Joe.
Love it.
Yeah, and like I say, all these people that could have joined Braun Strowman as his partner, Samoa Joe comes back, tells Roman that his time's due.
Yeah.
He's coming for him. Bobby Lashley comes back.
Yes, he does.
Who else? I mean, Jeff Hardy. We mentioned Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
Like, So all these surprises on Raw, these were the things we were looking for in WrestleMania. But like I say, it made Raw pretty badass.
Yeah, it was great. I'm a massive Samoa Joe fan.
Mm-hmm.
I love his. He's played the babyface a little bit. He's not terrible at it, but he plays that heel so well.
Yeah.
He is nasty.
Yeah.
He's going to whip up on you. You know it's going to be a fight when you have to fight Samoa Joe. When you're face to face with him, it's going to be something that you're gonna walk away from hurting. And he just comes out and he's real simple, Roman, because they've had a lot of history in the past. He's like, hey, you win that belt, I'll see you at Backlash. Either way, I think these guys are fighting a Backlash, and man, Samoa Joe, he brings this intensity to Raw, and it's going to be really incredible to watch this match and how it plays out, because I have seen these two guys go at it, and it's not too bad at all.
Yeah. Let's go through our honorable mentions real quick.
Well, Miz comes out,
right.
and says, hey, look, I made this title prestigious. And Finn come, they all kind of go at it again, and it sets up something for later. But the reason why I wanted to say this for honorable mention is because the crowd was so electric for Seth.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like the right guy won. As you hear the crowd and, his music hits, burn it down, and then the crowd is chanting, burn it down. It felt like this was the right guy to win the title at the time.
Right.
And there's still a great story line. There's still a lot of heat with these two other guys. And it was great to see. I will say this. I called it as one of my predictions that we would see the Demon King. That's what I was hoping anyway.
Yeah.
There was no hint to the Demon King coming for Finn Balor, but it was like, it's WrestleMania.
Right.
Like, give me that moment where all of a sudden, like, you think it's just going to be these two
Yeah.
guys.
Everything's more larger than life.
And then it gets dark, and here comes the Demon King. And, like, that would have been this huge psychology in the match, that it's something different now. Like, whoa, we didn't expect this. We've seen this before, but we didn't expect it here tonight. Right. And we just didn't get that moment. A little lackluster for me in WrestleMania and that, but I think Seth was the right winner. Crowd loved it. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's good to see Seth do that.
Any of the other NXT call-ups on Monday night? We saw Ember Moon.
We saw the Authors of Pain.
Right. Woo. Yeah, that's right.
Those
showed
guys
up.
are huge.
They
man.
are.
And I just think that they're going to bring that. Just talking about like Samoa Joe, that intensity, that pure. Holy cow! Here they come, man. I think they're going to bring that. It's cool to see that after WrestleMania. You see a lot of guys come up from NXT and see how they fit into the storyline.
I'd like to see the Authors of Pain against the Bludgeon Brothers.
Well, we may see that. We have some stuff coming up that we're going to talk about. There's no secret. There's a superstar shakeup coming out. So what happens with that? I think that you could really see good intensity with them in the bar, too.
Right.
Two really physical teams going at it.
Right.
I think you could see that as well.
It's the top 3 SmackDown stories.
All right, let's start with our first story, and we'll kind of preface this by something that happened on Raw.
Right. Absolutely.
Paige comes out after the match, the Absolution match, and she says she's and we all kind of knew that she wasn't going to wrestle anymore because of her neck injury.
Yeah.
But she was retiring, Daniel Bryan-esque.
Yeah.
Her leaving,
and the crowd goes nuts for her.
Yeah, they did.
This is your house, and a great send-off. And I have to tell you, I was completely surprised about what we're about to hear, Brad.
Right.
When one door closes, another yet opens. So allow me to introduce all of you to the new SmackDown General Manager. I give you Paige.
I was shocked.
That was great.
Yeah.
What an incredible announcement. Last night on Monday Night Raw, Paige announced her retirement from the ring.
So, and when she retired, I was thinking they have that movie coming out about her. And, I'd read that she was going to be, sticking around and what she was doing with Absolution is just a manager. But the GM of SmackDown Live, that's pretty cool.
I think they played that so well. I mean, the women's evolution of what it is, and then showing, man, that these women can put on as great as matches as the men. And now they can, with Stephanie, hands down, we know what she, the leadership she brings to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you have not only just a fresh face, but a young face as the GM and somebody that's been in the ring before, just like Daniel Bryan, you get something really cool, and really special with Paige. I really love it, man.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, here's our number 2 story. We called this for WrestleMania, but it ended up happening on SmackDown.
Ladies and gentlemen, Carmella is cashing in her Money in the Bank contract. Oh my God! Carmella's going to win the championship. This is brilliant. This is it.
Charlotte can barely stand up.
Her guaranteed finally going to do it. There's the bell. Here we go. Carmella with the kick. Charlotte Flair is down. New champion. Carmella is champion.
And Carmella, she had the best celebration after.
Oh man!
But to set that up a little bit more, they're called the Iconics, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
From Australia, they came out and beat Charlotte up, left her in the vulnerable position to get pinned by Carmella. And like I said, I totally thought this was happening at WrestleMania.
I did too.
But I give them credit for at least doing it, at SmackDown. So Charlotte now doesn't have the title. Carmella is the champ. No surprise that it happened, but were you surprised when it happened?
I guess how it all went down, which is, hey, more power to the WWE for making it not so predictable for us. But, Charlotte had just been through a match. She'd just been through all this stuff, and the Iconics beat her down. And on top of it, they cut a great promo on her. Just going back to NXT call-ups here, man, they were incredible, and they did such a great job. They beat her down. Their gimmick together is really special, and I think you could see something really nice with that on SmackDown or Raw, wherever they get called up at the time. But Carmella, in her very heel fashion, very look at me fashion, comes down, cashes in at the right time, super kick to the face, 1, 2, 3 pin, and then she prances around that ring like she had a 45-minute match with her and beat her.
Yeah, she totally rubbed it in. It was pretty funny though.
Yeah.
We'll talk about this match a little bit more that we're gonna feature as our number 1 moment. We'll talk about it a little bit more. But the end of the match is what counted as the number 1 moment with Shinsuke continuing his heel turn.
Shinsuke Nakamura! Wait a minute! Kinshasa!
This is on AJ.
Yes.
Nakamura! The man who low-blown AJ Styles at WrestleMania! And once again, Nakamura goes down south on the WWE champion.
What has gotten into Shinsuke Nakamura?
Kinshasa on the WWE champion.
So there was a great match between, a dream match between Daniel Bryan and AJ.
Yes.
And, of course, Shinsuke pops up out of nowhere and intervenes.
Well, we had the dream match of Daniel Bryan and AJ, like I said. There was no way that you could smell it coming from 1,000 miles away that there's not going to be a clean finish to this match. You knew there wasn't. Shinsuke's going to get involved. Something's going to happen. Another storyline's going to pop up. Whatever it is, you're not going to get a clean finish to this match. And Shinsuke comes out, does his thing again. But I have to say, backing up just a little bit, they do the promo earlier in SmackDown. And Renee Young is saying, hey, why did you do this? Why did it? And Shinsuke, in just pure comedy and pure heel, no speaking English.
Yeah. Well, he was like, I guess my emotions got the best of me. And then she asked him a follow-up, and he's like, no speak English. That was great. But something about that call, though. Listen to that call again.
Nakamura goes down south on the WWE champion.
Oh, dude.
That might not have been the best way to phrase that. The Daniel Bryan match, though, I was just happy to get to see him, get out there and see him wrestle again.
It was a great
like I said,
match.
I haven't seen it. This is only the second match I've seen him live. I've seen him on the network and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for the future of Daniel Bryan going forward, because I don't think it's not like he's come back. He's been hurt and he doesn't seem off.
No, he is. he's one of the top superstars again.
Yeah.
He left, came back, and he's in the same position, and that's what's beautiful about it. And that's what's beautiful about sports entertainment, professional wrestling, all that. That's what is that we get so excited about these guys. And then, so, we talk about Ronda when we were talking about her coming in. She's not real polished. She's not this. She's not the most greatest technical wrestler that you've ever seen in the world, but she's a huge name. We're really excited about it. Well, Daniel Bryan has kept a relevancy all the way through his injury, and people love him. People chant yes about everything.
Yeah.
And that is his chant. So he's relevant all the way through. Then he's the GM, and now that he's cleared, man, there's no ring rust whatsoever, man.
Yeah.
He's great. He's
Yeah.
incredible.
I'm excited. SmackDown, any more honorable mentions?
NXT call-ups continue to be great, and we'll see how those play out. And I think that's it. I mean, we did have, the U.S. Championship of Gender. He continues kind of his thing. Randy Orton is going to be the number one contender against Gender. You had the Usos and the New Day kind of going at it again. That was another great match. SmackDown wasn't bad at all. There's a lot of great storylines.
Yeah.
We've had a lot to talk about in the matches.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave anything out.
Right.
But, when you've had big stuff happen like a Money in the Bank cash in,
Yeah.
you got to talk about those things.
One thing I want to harken back to on Raw, should have mentioned this a little bit earlier. Sami Zayn, but it kind of pertains to SmackDown.
Yeah,
Sami
absolutely.
Zayn and Kevin Owens show up on Raw and say, "We want a job."
Yeah.
And it was funny because he's like, I only have one spot. And then so Kevin Owens is like, hey, you don't have to hire us both.
Really,
We're not
Kurt,
a package.
you only
deal."
got one spot. Come on, get out of here.
And so Sami Zayn's like, wait, whoa, dude.
Yeah.
We were partners. And so he makes them fight each other.
Mhm.
Well, they end up getting counted out. So what's going to happen with those two?
I don't know. They're playing it perfectly with the superstar shakeup that's coming. They are playing that perfectly, and so does it open up a spot? We don't know, but for it to be not only just like out of the ring double count out, but these guys had just beat the hell out of each other so much that it was one a count to 10 inside the ring.
Yeah, because they weren't
really
out of the ring.
No, they were inside the
laying
ring.
in the ring like they couldn't get up. Yeah. So I'm kind of interested to see how this storyline is going to shake up because it hasn't happened anything like I thought it was going to. There's no. I mean, we're about to get into it, but there's no rumors or anything that they're leaving, right?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't see. They're in the top 10 of superstars, top 15 guys that you want to see each and every week, and especially KO, in my opinion. I mean, Sami Zayn's really come on strong in the past 6-8 weeks.
This has lifted him up, I believe, and he's funny. He's so annoying that it's funny.
He gets a lot of heat, though. Like, there's a lot of heat. Like, The Miz is great about getting heat from the crowd.
Right.
Even though he's over and the fans love him, they'll boo the hell out of him.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same way for Kevin Owens, is that the fans love him, but at the same time, they, when the moment's right, what they're supposed to do, they will boo that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Boo this man. All right. It's time for
Dirt Sheets and Rumors.
I like how he says it like it's the
Rumors.
like, there's something a little dirty about it.
There might be.
It is Dirt Sheet, so you dug up some rumors.
Well, it wasn't hard to find after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But, one of the things that we will talk about is the superstar shakeup and what's the moves that can really happen that we can really expect to see. And I'm going to go through them pretty quickly. And we've talked about it before. This is sportskita.com. They put out some good stuff. Some of their stuff was actually true. My predictions were wrong. Theirs was actually true. So maybe you should, listen to us, me talking about this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Now,
okay.
as one of them, let me ask, because I really think this is going to happen. I think Charlotte and Asuka are going to swap.
Well,
anything to that?
Man, I say it all the time. I'm going to be the host of this show one day, Brad. You're always trying to trump what I'm trying to talk about. Man.
All right, go ahead.
I'm just kidding. But number one on the list, they say Daniel Bryan to Raw.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
It kind of like freshened. He didn't need freshening up, but so he come back from injury. He's on SmackDown, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, boom, he's right on Raw. And then all of a sudden, he gets all those big pops all over again.
Yeah.
Like they haven't seen him before, but they will get that. And that's always, Daniel Bryan is, man, he's just awesome to see. One of the other ones talked about was Sasha to SmackDown. What? It's a real possibility in all this shakeup. You would also talk about, and I'll put these two together, okay, that Seth would go to SmackDown and Jinder Mahal would go to Raw.
Ugh.
I don't really like it.
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Seth.
You just don't like Jinder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I wouldn't mind seeing Seth go to SmackDown, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jinder, like, go back to Canada.
Because that's exactly where he's from.
Yeah.
One of the other ones was Dolph Ziggler going to Raw.
I like Dolph Ziggler. I wish they'd use him more.
Well, I think that he needs that freshen up. You know,
Yeah.
he needs that, be able to scrap it all and kind
Yeah.
of start that whole storyline over. The next one that we can talk about is Gallows and Anderson going to SmackDown.
Okay.
See, I don't like it. Here's why. I think Finn doesn't win the title, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's having the continued storyline because that's what you need to do, and he had a great match against Rollins and Miz at WrestleMania, so you don't just squash it all together. It's not like that terrible Sister Abigail thing that he was doing with Bray Wyatt, but I want to see the club back together. I want to see Gallows and Anderson with Finn Balor and have this reign of going against a Miztourage, going against anybody else that comes up against their path. And those just, they kind of turn heel, but they're the sarcastic heel that everybody loves. I would love to see that on Raw. That's just me, man. I want to see it. I could also see it on SmackDown too. Either way, I don't care.
Yeah.
I just want to see all of them together.
I personally don't see the need for Finn to have a Finn-tourage. I mean, I know he has the the Balor Club, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like the right fit for me. But I think he should just stick to the singles stuff. That's what I think. But,
Yeah.
Any others?
You want Becky Lynch maybe to Raw? So just some women kind of going back and forth. The Revival to SmackDown was one that was being talked about. They could. These tag teams and the women that go back and forth a little bit, and it just freshens up storylines. This is one that I really like, okay? Because I think he's just come off a good storyline. He was the U.S. champion for a while. Good storyline with Randy Orton, Jinder Mahal, and Rusev there at the end. But Bobby Roode to Raw. But not only Raw, like him coming over to Raw as a babyface, but him coming as a heel. That very arrogant, that glorious heel.
I could see it.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun to watch.
And what about his girlfriend, Charlotte? No, I'm kidding.
And then this was one that was talked about was Asuka to SmackDown. We could see that.
So I see Asuka going, but I also see Charlotte. I see them switching.
Yeah, kind of going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we're going to, I said a second ago, not trying to repeat myself a ton here, but we're going to see that little shift back and forth. Kind of tit for tat on, and I think it's going to be the people that we need to see fresh storylines from. I really love Dolph Ziggler, but if he could get in a feud with Finn Balor, I might really like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. So I'd like to see him on Raw. Here's what I think is going to happen too. We talked about it, and we didn't see anything to where it would happen the way where we talked about New Day not staying together,
right?
And we thought there might be something that happens where they split up because of heat or whatever. I think it might just be simply the shakeup. You might see Big E go to Raw.
Yeah, it may just happen.
And then you see those two stay together on SmackDown as the New Day.
Yeah.
That's my prediction. Of course, if you look at my WrestleMania predictions, I don't know anything.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. They were the greatest predictions of all time.
Yeah, on the greatest podcast of all time. So
that's right.
All right. Next on our list is, are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
You said the Brock and the McMahons had a little altercation after WrestleMania?
So it came out.
Which is crazy because then he signs and it seems like everything would be gravy, but
you never know. Going back to what I said against Roman, though, there's a no blood policy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So maybe, we don't know this, but several reports came out. Pro Wrestling Sheet got this. Dave Meltzer got this. Wade Kettler talked about this, about how there's this real altercation of Brock, he wins the title. He comes back through the curtains, and Vince McMahon is waiting on him.
Mm-hmm.
And they have this little altercation, and I don't know if it's about blood or if it's not about blood. I have no idea, but there is an altercation there that is being reported on. And then the next day, the next report came out that, yes, they did have the altercation, and then Shane was involved because of that, because he was kind of getting in his dad's face. Well, not only is Shane protecting the business, but he's also protecting his dad, and they're kind of going at it. So heat of the moment, I mean, he just comes out of a pretty aggressive match and where all this is happening, and then you got somebody kind of yelling in your face. Maybe heated. Things could happen in that moment. But, Brock has been known to be the guy that does whatever he wants, when he wants, and how he wants. And, it may have just pissed Vince off.
Yeah.
Saying, you know what, man? This isn't your company. You're not the one that put on this pay-per-view. I'm the one that put on WrestleMania and 34 other ones like it. And we'll see what happens because of it. But he is signed. He is going to the Greatest Royal Rumble on April 27th. But the rumor is that he's dropping the belt to Roman. And I don't know if that all has to do with one another, but like I said, I'm ready to see the Universal Championship back on Raw.
You think there's anything to the Roman thing that he didn't know about it till you think that was all just part of the story?
As part of the story, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is because it's great. It's great to tell.
Yeah.
You can say, well, I don't care. Put me up against him again. Do whatever you want. But
I it wouldn't surprise me if things came together so fast that he just hadn't had a chance to, somebody hadn't got on the phone with him or whatever. But But I'm sure that all that's been planned out for a long time.
Yeah,
that's
they're going to Saudi Arabia,
yeah.
so it's probably they bought their tickets a while back.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Anything else on your rumors?
Well, there was a few other things that came out. There were some possibilities of what Shinsuke is going to look like as a heel. That wasn't too bad. But this is the one that I wanted to talk about because it seems like this is so Rusev comes out. And I posted it on our Facebook page because it was on the WWE page. So it was not like it's some rumor that I found out. But it was on the WWE page that Rusev was going to fight Undertaker at this Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Man, so I was like, oh, happy Rusev Day. Here it is. And then not a few hours later, apparently there was a comment made by Lana and Rusev. And Rusev something about like he's old. And I thought it was like a joke and it was just part of the heat.
Right.
That they were going back and forth with each other. Apparently it's not. And now Chris Jericho is going to be making a reappearance back in WWE. And he is going to be facing Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
It's Jericho versus Undertaker?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I love it.
Drink it in, man.
I'm a big Jericho fan.
Oh, so am I, man.
So I saw you had posted something about that, and I thought, sweet, Jericho's going to be there. I had no idea it was versus Taker.
Yeah. I mean, and Jericho in all his great heel fashion says, I'm going to bury the dead man. And but he's saying the right things. But apparently, either they didn't like the story at all with Rusev, and they didn't, Rusev didn't want to. I don't have any idea. Why would you not want a match with Undertaker? I can't even fathom any of that. Especially once he looked so good against John Cena, and yes, it was a squash match. Yes, it was this, but Chris Jericho says, "Okay, I'll take the match," and he goes and. Is it the whole storyline? I don't know, but it doesn't seem like it at all. It seems like there was a little bit of heat there. He said the wrong things. Lana said a few of the wrong things, and they were like, "Okay, screw you."
Yeah.
Chris Jericho come do it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Although I'm wondering where that leaves Rusev going forward.
Well, it's not good.
It's not going to be a good Rusev day.
No. If you were legitimately pissing off the boss.
Yeah.
And we talked about it in one of our rumors, I think it was last week, that before he didn't get included into WrestleMania, and he was bitching about it kind of a little bit. And, so is there this real friction between Rusev and Lana in the company? Well, it seems to be playing out that way. We'll see as we go moving forward. But as of now, we're seeing Jericho versus Undertaker at the Greatest Royal Rumble.
Oh, I can't wait. You just made my day.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's it for the rumors and dirt sheets. Am I right? Am I correct?
That's it for now. Yeah.
All right. I love it.
And we'll post more as we go on throughout the week. Remember, you can find us on Facebook.
Yeah.
We'll go ahead and say it. Go ahead and plug it. We are the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast on Facebook. It's OOHH Wrestling Podcast. Man, find us on there. When I find great stuff and I think it's good stuff that you guys want to know, I put it out there. We have several, committed people that reshare or that share our stuff and put it out there. So keep doing that. We want to hear your comments, and we just want to hear what you think you have about all this because we love it. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. You can catch us on SoundCloud.
Yep.
iTunes, YouTube, and then of course on Facebook. And soon, we've been doing this. What is this?
Episode
5
5.
episodes. Yeah, I can't believe it. It's doing it weekly.
Mm-hmm.
It stacks up. We even kind of want to maybe do Facebook Live eventually.
Yeah, we will.
But we do kind of get on there occasionally, like when we were at the shows and different stuff, or watching WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And, so following our Facebook will have some benefits for you as well. So get on there and like our page. We're going to go see a show this weekend.
Yep.
Because, we went to the last one. We got to see my dude, Marty the Moth.
Yeah.
Got the shirt. I had to order it because I didn't have any money at the show. And I think we're even efforting doing an interview with him, right?
Man, I would love to. I mean, he said, he kind of hinted that it was a real possibility, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're not just blowing smoke. I mean, we talked to him. He talked to Brad, and he said, yeah, I'd love to do an interview. We'll set it up. We'd love to get Marty on the show, man.
Yeah.
Woo!
But this is the
Lucha Underground. Big time.
Yeah.
El Rey Network.
Yeah. Mid-South Wrestling Alliance, that's going down this Saturday night, 7:30 at the Old Farmers Market Antique Mall. I know
That's
Drake
April
Gallows,
14th, right?
Yeah. I know Drake Gallows is going to be wrestling, and, the Mid-South Wrestling Alliance, the rest of the roster. So
we're going to check it out.
Yeah. Everybody should come and join us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know that you've heard us on the Oh Yeah Wrestling podcast. And there's a good shot. I'll buy you a drink.
Ooh. So if you come up to us, like somebody came up to us the last time and thought we were the wrestlers. Specifically, I think he thought you were Sheamus, but no, but you didn't have the mohawk, so I don't know what he thought.
I can't even grow that much hair, man.
But he did. He came to me first, and he's like, "Hey, are you all wrestlers?" And I was like, "No." And he goes, "The guy next to you really looks like a wrestler." And I was like, "Well, he's not." And he's like, "Are you sure?" Like maybe I was trying to keep it incognito or something. So yeah, look for Bright Red Will.
That's us.
And me in some sort of wrestling shirt.
Yeah.
And if you say, I listened to the podcast, though. Not like you can't just keep saying it all night.
No.
Yeah.
No,
one drink.
Yeah. Come on now. Don't be greedy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for today.
Episode 5.
Yeah. Share it with all your friends.
Please do.
Please do. We love doing this for you. We're the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
For Will, I'm Brad Reed. Have a great week.
See you next week.
Nakamura goes down south on the WWE champion.
Oh, dude.
Oh, yeah!